Hey everybody, Cliff Barron from Remax here with my update for November 1st to the 7th, 2020 for Milton, Georgetown, and Glen Williams. First, I had a request a couple of weeks ago for questions about asbestos in a house. And, just to start off, I'm not a home inspector, so just to let you know, but I know quite a bit about it. And I think over the years, the number of houses I've actually physically been in, is probably over 10,000. It's just insane. But the number of houses that I've actually done deals on where there was suspected asbestos is two. I've only done two. And one of them was in Brampton, one was in Milton. And the one in Brampton had vermiculite insulation in the attic that had to be checked out. It turns out it wasn't asbestos. Asbestos is actually a little town in Quebec. But anyway, so that's where it was originated. That's where it came from, but it was okay. We had to have it tested, which is one thing you have to do. And then another one was a townhouse in Milton. There's some older townhouses in Milton where there's asbestos. They used it in the pipes and the floor tiles. Sometimes when you see those little 12 by 12 floor tiles in a kitchen in an older home prior to about in the 70s, 60s, 50s, there might be asbestos in the tiles possibly. And the number one rule with asbestos, as everybody knows, is if you suspect it, just don't touch it. Because as soon as you touch it and irritate it, it gets into the air, and then you breathe it in your lungs, and then it could cause problems. So you got to get it mediated, yeah, something like that. So you got to bring in an asbestos company to test it. If they'll test it, and if they find asbestos, then you have to get it removed. And surprisingly, it's not as expensive as you think. So anyway, so hopefully that helps out. A few questions here and there, but if you're buying a house that was built after 1980, I wouldn't worry about it too much. It doesn't really, especially in 2000 and on, forget it. It doesn't exist anymore, so you won't have to worry about that. The only thing I'd worry about is mold. To be honest, that's more prevalent than asbestos. Anyway, so getting to I'm going to do Milton first. The market's still busy. We actually ticked up a little bit. 41 sales this past week compared to 40 last year. Same month last year. 18 detached at 1.163, 7 days on the market. 9 semis at 877, 2 days on the market, which is really interesting because with the market the way it is, 2 days on the market doesn't make sense to me, because why take an offer so quickly? Why sell so quickly? When there's literally dozens of people you missed out on by selling so quickly. So anyways, but just saying, 877 was the average price, which is pretty good. 14 townhouses, 777 on average, 6 days on the market. Things are still moving well. Again, condos, let's see, there was only 3 sales of condos, which is a little slower than last year. There were 7, but still the average is 557 and 6 days on the market. And then we get to Georgetown and Glen Williams, which is always slower than Milton. It's never quite as busy because there's nowhere near as many homes. Let's see, 2019 and 2020, exactly the same number, 13 sales in the past week. 9 detached, four townhouses, 1.1 on the detached, and 8 days on the market, and 718 on the townhouses, 5 days on the market. One thing to take into consideration when it comes to these numbers, you look and you say 13 sales last week. Last year there was 13 sales as well, but you got to keep in mind last year there was 13 sales, but there was hardly any buyers. Things were selling, but they were selling 1 or 2 or 3% under the asking price, and it could take. I had a listing in Georgetown in the fall of last year, and it took a good 35-40 days to sell because it was kind of a balanced market. Then everything started to take off. So even though the number of sales is same, the number of listings is way down, and that's what's driving the prices way up. I've got a listing right now. I've had over 40 showings on it in the past 5 days. It's insane. So never seen anything like it. Anyways, so any questions, let me know. Cliff Barron from Remax again. Send me a DM, PM, any questions, and I'll be sure to help you out. Thanks. Take care.